Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Fabio and I am very excited today because it's finally arrived. I was waiting for this item for a long time. I received this for my birthday, but since it was imported from Japan, it arrived only yesterday and I'm very excited and I can't wait to show you what I'm talking about since I'm a big fan of this series and this is a big step to complete my collection regarding this series, which is one of my favorites. You may guess what it is. Obviously, I'm talking about Breath of Fire, the official complete works. Basically, this is, even though you can see it's pretty small, it's nothing massive, this is a Breath of Fire Bible. And it's, to my knowledge, this is the only official Breath of Fire art book that you can find. And having this, that it's available only in Japan, it's only in Japanese. I cannot read this, but it's mainly an art book. So it's the images speak from themselves. I mean, you don't need to read. If you know your Breath of Fire, it's like you can translate with your passion and everything it says. As I said, this is a must-have for a Breath of Fire fan. It covers the art of all the games from Breath of Fire 1 up until Breath of Fire 5, Dragon Quarter. And since this was released, I think, in 2005, I may be wrong, but it's way before Breath of Fire 6 was announced. And so obviously there's no reference to that, since at the time, Dragon Quarter was the latest game. So, as I said, this is an art book, and that's already amazing because Breath of Fire has some great art. It's a very interesting game. One of the things that like catches the most my imagination when I started playing the games was the art, because the first game that I played was Breath of Fire 3 on the PlayStation 1, and that amazing, gorgeous graphics captured me. It was very anime oriented, so of course I fell in love with the game. Then I started to play the others from 4, the first two. Then when I finally bought a PS2, I played the fifth one. I have a lot to say about Dragon Quarter, but this is not the case. And I'm not going to talk about Breath of Fire 6, simply because I have enough to I complain enough and criticize Capcom enough regarding Breath of Fire 6, so this time I'm only spending good words since I love these games so much, every one of them. And I just want to show you some images as best as I can since I have a really stiff camera on my laptop. I cannot move it too much, so I hope you are able to see some of this gorgeous art. Really hope so because it's totally worth it. And I'm so happy to have this, by the way. I can't stop looking at the cover and back because I love it, because we have got, as you can see, we have all the Ryus from the different games. Number 1, 2 over here, number 3, 4, and Dragon Quarter, plus all the Ninas from the different games. Great stuff. So it starts with the covers of the game, which are very good, by the way. From the first one is actually, they're not in order, by the way. Or maybe it's like a sort of reverse order from the latest release. I don't know. Anyways, it started with the amazing cover of Breath of Fire 3 on the PSP, as you can see. And it's gorgeous. The main attention of this are Ryu and Nina, of course, but in the background, around them, there are all the other main characters, from Momo, Garland, in Japanese, Gar, Ray, and all the others. It's always one of my favorite discourses. Next, we have the cover of the Japanese, these are the Japanese cover, of course, of Breath of Fire 2 on the Game Boy Advance. This one. We got Ryu, Nina, all the other characters, and up here, I don't know if you can see, this is actually Ryu's mother. Very important character in the game. Don't want to spoil it, but very important. One of my favorite covers, actually, is the amazingly dark, in a way, cover of Breath of Fire 1 on the Game Boy Advance. Mainly because look at Ryu. It is really menacing and awesome. And this, then we have Nina and all the other characters. But Ryu really steals the scene here. Just want to show you very well. It's great stuff. Then we move on to Dragon Quarter, Breath of Fire 5. On the PS2, Japanese cover, got Ryu, Nina, Bosch, Lin, and I really like the art of Dragon Quarter. I mean, there's a lot to say about the game, but as I said, I'm not gonna talk and go too deep into that since that's for another video. Moving on to the PlayStation 1 cover of Breath of Fire 4. And curiously enough, I actually have here with me the European PC cover of Breath of Fire 4. I don't know why I have this with me here. Like, I replayed the game years ago, just forgot to bring it back, but this is a great game, by the way. Many people consider this the best Breath of Fire game. It's not my favorite, but it's a very, very good RPG. And a great game in the Breath of Fire series. Moving on to the PlayStation 1 cover right here of Breath of Fire 3. Not as cool, I think, as the PSP cover. I don't know if this or the North American cover with the sword with flames is better, but this is cool. You can see all the characters. Moving on to the Super Famicom cover of Breath of Fire 2. It's mainly all the characters. It's more simple in a way than the one from the Game Boy Advance. And speaking of Breath of Fire 2 and Super Famicom, it's right over here, if you can see it a little better. Very glad to have it, by the way. A mint condition Super Famicom Breath of Fire 2 with the box. And its cover with all the characters and a dragon in the background. How can you not love Breath of Fire? Finishing this, it's of course the Super Famicom cover of Breath of Fire 1. Not nearly as cool as the Game Boy Advance, since there's no Ryu other than a dragon, but I don't know if it's in or not, but it's okay. So basically, oh, nice, this is a page focusing on the different race, tribes, and clans of the Breath of Fire world. As you can see, from like, I don't know, the Warrens, the Grass Runners, the Frogs, the Moles, the Fishes, Nina, the Wing People, the Highlanders, the Monkey People, Fairies, all of them. Very, very cool stuff. This is, I want to say this, one of the most interesting thing of Breath of Fire 6 is actually the fact that it's focused more on the world of Breath of Fire with all the clans. So that is a really good thing that they did very well in the development of the game. A lot of things are not going well for the development, I have to say this, but the idea of exploring the world of Breath of Fire, it's excellent, since I always find it very, very fascinating and interesting, especially with all the races. So the first part is, of course, on Breath of Fire 1, with art of the characters, as you can see, from Ryu, Nina, and all the others. As you can see here, the awesome Days, also known as Blue. Some of the sub-characters important for the story, like Sarah, Ryu's sister, the Empire, the Black Dragon General. It was called Jade, I think. I don't remember. I haven't played Breath of Fire 1 in a while. I think this is the Emperor, and I really didn't expect this is the final boss. Actually, oops, let me put it better. There we go. This little kid, this is the final boss of the game. I really didn't expect it. I know, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna ruin it. Oh, the Metamorphosis, I love it. It's focused only on some of them, but it's cool. This is obviously the most notorious one. This is also the most powerful one. A sort of dark dragon. Love it. Some monsters. Oh, I have to say something to say about this. You know, you can look at this one. I think her name is Cheryl or something, and she is one of the most interesting, I think, side characters in Breath of Fire 1. even more explored than some of the main character of the game. Very interesting story, quite sad, but uh, the plot around her, it's one of the most interesting parts of Breath of Fire 1. Trust me when I say it. Some backgrounds, really good. Items and weapons, more characters, and we move on to Breath of Fire 2. Together with 3, this is my favorite game of the series. It's very difficult to choose between 2 and 3, since they're both amazing and very well done. So looking at a group image with the main characters of the game. Main characters, of course, want to highlight Nina with her amazing black wings, one of the very interesting part of the story. She is my favorite Nina of the entire series, the one in Breath of Fire 2. She is very beautiful and she has this all the story around her wings. Another personal favorite of mine, of course, is Kat, also known as Rinpu in Japan. Stan, the Highlander, the Monkey Man, the other characters. Blue, Days, she is an hidden character actually, but playable if you manage to find her in the game. And this is actually the last time that we use her as a playable character in a Breath of Fire game, because in Breath of Fire 3 you cannot use her, as the same in Breath of Fire 4. She always is very important. She is awesome, I love Blue. But it's a pity that you cannot play as her. Some of the sub-characters that you can see, you got Ryu's mother, Nina's sister, there you go, Mina, I think she's called, she's a very important character. Go, Ryu's sister, his father, and the dude over here, I think his name is Tiga or something like that. An interesting subplot with Kat, since together those two are like the last Warrens in the world or something like that. Very interesting plot around him. We can see here the shamans, both like more Super Famicom version and more anime style. Some of the metamorphoses other than the dragons. For example, if you fuse your character together with the shamans, you can have, this is the ultimate fusion of Nina, and she looks like a sort of angel of destruction. Just very cool, part of my party. And my favorite, of course, Cat Fusion. She looks like a sort of purple skin were-tiger or something like that. Very cool. Also, the other metamorphosis looks awesome, but I focus mainly on Nina and Cat plus Ryu. The monsters. That's nice. Also, some of the backgrounds and scenes. For example, here you got in the mountains close to your home. There's the cave with you can see this Ryu and their sister's child with the dragon blocking the entrance of the cave. Here's another cave at the beginning of the game with little Ryu and Bo looking for the tail. Very interesting part. The Colosseum where you meet Kat. The tower, weapons, some sketches of characters. Awesome. And we move on to Breath of Fire 3, probably my personal favorite together with 2. Love this. Got the characters, of course. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Sketches. This is really good. Love this. All the dragons. I love Breath of Fire 3 very much. Monsters. The final boss. Oh my god, the goddess. That was really cool. The mines. It's just so awesome. The art of Breath of Fire 3 was simply mind-blowing when I saw it for the first time. This is cool. Little Nina and Ryu, Ray. Awesome. I love Breath of Fire 3 so much. It's a gorgeous game. We move on to Breath of Fire 4. I can talk too much about Breath of Fire 3 for hours, so let's just move on. Breath of Fire 4 is considered by many people one of the best of the series. It's not my favorite, but it's a very, very good one. An excellent RPG for the PlayStation, even though for the first time I played on the PC, as I showed you. Gorgeous art. Oh, this is one of my favorite of the entire book, and try to show you well. I don't know if you remember the part of the game when you meet the air dragon in the sky, and here it is with the gondola with Ryu and Nina when they're talking with the dragon. This was a big moment in the game with this massive dragon plus small one. I love this. Or what about this scene right at the beginning of the game when the sand dragon, this beast over here, attacks attacks Nina and Cry on the sand on their sand speeder or whatever it's called, like in the desert when they're looking for Nina's sister. Or this scene also, this is gorgeous art, I think, when you remember this, I suppose, from the game when there is this dragoon with the singer over here, sorry, the singer here, when he, I never understand what it is singing about dragons and the endless, the gods of the Breath of Fire 4 universe. It's great. The story in Breath of Fire 4 is very good, focusing mainly on these two guys, of course, Ryu and Fou-Lu, one of my favorite villains of all time. The God Emperor Fou-Lu. It's Nina, Cry. One of my favorite characters of both the fourth game and the entire series. I love her. Of course, I'm talking about Ursula. It's a sort of cool fox lady, ninja with guns. I mean, she is very cool. I was so glad that she's a playable character. The Airshinn. She has the Imperials, like I think it's called Captain Reno or something, I don't remember. The scientist, he is a really sick bastard. The general obsessed with the capture of Fou-Lu. Some other characters. The dragons. What can we say about Breath of Fire 4's dragon? They're awesome. They're really, really well designed. And it's kind of hard to manage to find all of them. I did, but it took me a long time. More art. The backgrounds. It's gorgeous. A lot of stuff. And we move on to Breath of Fire 5, of course. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I focus mainly on the games I play the most. Since as I said to you, I played Breath of Fire 5 only for like 2-3 hours, not enough to have a solid judgment on the game. I realized that it's different, but there's a lot to say. Like, for example, I love the art of Breath of Fire 5. Like, look at this. This is gorgeous. Got such great art in Breath of Fire 5. The story seems interesting. Sling. Great stuff. I love Breath of Fire. It's a very interesting looking game. Really want to explore more. Realize its problems, but there also, I'm sure that there is good stuff in that game. Love this image. It's classic Breath of Fire 5 with Ryu, Nina, and Lyn resting on ground. Got Ryu. The thing I love about Breath of Fire 5, he is one of my favorite Ryus, I have to admit. Mainly because he talks, and I love talking characters in video game and RPG. Much more than silent one, especially the main character. Since I think silent characters are more bland. I can understand that in a way you can relate with them a little more, since it's like you are talking with the others, but it doesn't work all the time with me. Like in Chrono Trigger, I didn't like Chrono very much because it doesn't say anything. The same with Ryu in all the other games, it's always silent. There's Lyn, I really like Lyn, by the way. She is really cool. Of course, we got Bosch. So much to tell, so little. Other characters, backgrounds, dragons. I mean, the art of Breath of Fire 5, it's very, very interesting. And yes, that's about it. I can talk about every single page, and I don't want. I just show you some highlights of this book. I really, really wanted to share this moment with you guys, since I love Breath of Fire so much. I really wanted to show you some of my favorite pictures of this book. And hope you guys like it, you find interesting. Of course, this is mainly for Breath of Fire fans, such as myself, but I hope you find it interesting. And if you haven't played the games, because they are really, really good. The fifth one is a bit controversial, but play the first four. Breath of Fire 1, 2, 4 are some of the best RPGs that you can find, in my opinion. Again, hope you like this video, guys. It's a bit long, longer than I expected, I have to admit, but I can go on and talk about Breath of Fire for hours, so I really wanted to focus on this. Also because this is the only official art book that you can find. So it really deserves some attention and a closer look. So this is all for now, and thanks for watching like always, and take care.